Hey guys, welcome to today's class. What we have today is cubic polynomials. We have different kinds of polynomials. We have quadratic polynomial, we have cubic polynomial. We also have the polynomials that are raised to the power of 4, that is the fourth degree polynomials, and so on. So you know that the general expression for quadratic polynomial is simply, so this is the expression for quadratic polynomial because the highest power of the variable is 2. We call it quadratic polynomial. Now for cubic polynomial, the highest power of the variable is 3. From the word cubic, cube is 3. And the general expression for cubic polynomial is simply, so this is the expression for cubic polynomials. What this means is that any cubic polynomial must have 3 solutions. Since the highest power of the variable x is 3, it means that it must have 3 solutions. For quadratic polynomials, since the highest power of this variable is 2, it has 2 solutions. So quadratic polynomials have 2 solutions, while cubic polynomials have 3 solutions. Now, in solving for cubic polynomials, we need to take note of these formulas. Don't play with these formulas. They are very, very important. You see this formula, the sum of roots of the polynomial. Okay, let's assume that the roots are x, y, and z. So this is the first solution of the cubic polynomial. This is the second solution, and this is the third solution. So for us to get the sum of roots, which means that the roots are, which is x plus y and plus z. This is the sum of the roots of the polynomials. And the formula for the sum of roots is simply minus b over a. So when we consider this expression, this is the coefficient of this first term, this is the coefficient of the second term, and this is the c is the coefficient of this x, and then this d is the constant. And don't forget that a can never be 0. So when we express this cubic polynomial, we note that a can never be 0, but b can be 0, c can be 0, d can be 0, but a can never be 0. Now we also need to take note of the product of roots, which is x times y times z. This is the product of the roots, and the formula is simply d over minus d over a. So this is the formula for the product of roots of the polynomial. We have another formula which we call the sum of products of roots. We get that by multiplying the roots in twos. So if we multiply x and y, we have xy, plus if we multiply x and z, we have xz, plus when we multiply y and z, we have yz. So this is the sum of the products of the roots, and the formula for it is simply c over a. That is the formula for the sum of the products of the roots. You see these two formulas, sum of roots and the product of roots. These two formulas will help us to solve cubic polynomials. We have a question on the board that says we should solve for the value of x in this polynomial. Whenever you are given a question and you are asked to find the value of x or the values of the variable, you should first of all consider the highest power of the variable. The power of this x is 3, fine. The power of this x is 2, fine. The power of this x is 1. Since there is no power, which means that it is 1. So what is the highest power of the variable? The highest power of the variable is 3. Therefore, this is a cubic polynomial because the highest power is 3. Now, let's solve this. Whenever you are asked to solve for a cubic polynomial, they will give you one of the solutions of the polynomial. They are saying that 1 is one of the roots. Remember that this is a cubic polynomial. It has 3 solutions. So they are saying that 1 is one of the roots. So remaining 2 roots. So let's solve for the other roots. The roots are, since 1 is one of the roots, so the roots are 1 is one of the roots, comma. Let's call the second root x and the third root y. So these are the roots of the polynomial. 1 is the first root, which they gave us from the question. X is the second root, y is the third root. Now, we are going to make use of the formula for sum of roots and the product of roots whenever you are solving for cubic polynomial. The sum of root is simply 1 plus x plus y, which is 1 plus x plus y. And the formula for the sum of fruits is minus b over a, which we had. Then for the product of fruits, the product of fruit is simply 1 times x times y, which is xy. This is xy. And the formula for it is minus d over a. Let's find this actual sum of fruits using this formula. So the sum of fruits, which means that 1 plus x plus y, which is the sum of fruits, is simply minus b. Now, what is b from the polynomial? This is a. The coefficient of this is a. This is b, and this is c, and this is d. So we know that a is 1. Since there is no coefficient here, so there is invisible 1 in front of this. So a is 1. B is, this is minus 6. So b is minus 6. C is 11. And then d is minus 6. We have minus 6 here. Minus 6. So let's solve this sum of fruits. Sum of fruit is simply minus b over a. So minus, what is b? B is minus 6. So b is minus 6 all over a. A is 1. So we have, let's get for the product of fruits. The product of fruit is simply xy, which we have here. Xy is equal to or minus d over a. So we have minus d is minus 6. So d is minus 6. Minus 6 all over a is 1. So this is also 6. So the sum of fruit is 6. What the product of fruit is also 6. Now let's simplify these two expressions. So from this we have that from this, let's collect items. Let's take this one to come to this other side. So we have that x plus y equal to 6. This is positive 1. When it comes to these sides, it takes negative side. This is minus 1. So we have that x plus y is equal to 6 minus 1 will give you 5. So we call this equation 1. We call this equation 1. Now let's go to the products of the roots. X times y. This one is already simplified. So xy is equal to 6. So we call it equation 2. So let's solve for these two equations simultaneously to get the value of x and y. So let's make any of these variables the subjects from this equation 2. So let's make s the subject for this equation. So we have that x is equal to 6 over y. So let's call it equation 3. Right? We put the value of x into equation 1. So we have, this is equation 1, x plus y. So the value of x now is 6 over y. So we have 6 over y, which is the x, then plus y is equal to 5. So let's find the value of y. So y also means y all over 1. So we multiply through by y. Since y is the denominator, we multiply everything by y. So y multiplying this, the y will be, so we have 6y over y multiplying through by y. So plus y times y is y squared. Then we have it as 5y. Now let's solve for this quadratic expression. We have y squared. This is a positive 5y. When it crosses over, it takes the negative sign. Plus 5, then plus 6, equal to 0. We have two values of y as 3 and 2. Okay. Now we have found the value of y. Let's go and get the value of x. So since the values of y are 2 and 3, we are going to solve for when y is 2 and when y is 3. So let's consider equation 3. From equation 3, when y is 2, so let's substitute y for 2. We have that x will be 6 all over 2, which is 3. And when y when y is 3. So we have that x will be, we put x as 3 now, and this is 2. So we have that when y is 2, x is 3, and when y is 3, x is 2. So in what this means that the two values are just 2 and 3. Since we are just getting 2 and 3s from this x and y, that means that the two other solutions are 2 and 3. Therefore, the solution to this expression, the solutions are that the first root is 1, which we are given, the second root is 2, and the third root is 3. That is the solution.